Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing alright as well. I have my coffee per usual, and welcome back to our playthrough of Final Fantasy XIII, my favorite Final Fantasy. Now, a little TLDR, excuse me, before we get back into it. We started off with our two characters, Lightning and Saz, breaking out of a train and starting a bit of a conflict. Then we have our boy Snow here, right here, with his own group coming in to stir up some trouble in the name of liberation and all that. And then we had a couple of other characters as well who we don't know the names of yet, but we will, I believe, in the next episode or two, see them that were involved. One, a young boy whose mother unfortunately died in the fighting, and a young girl with very pink hair and bright, cheery personality, who seems to be a little bit more than she lets on. But, until we get to that point, we have our boy Snow, and we need to punch things, because he is Punch Man. So let's get it. Now, if you remember, this game does, in Final Fantasy tradition, or the more modern tradition anyway, has the active time battle gauge. And you can either auto battle, or you can choose the abilities that you want to. In general, it's a good idea to choose your abilities. You're going to have a little bit better control over the flow of the battle and what you're going to be doing. Recon guys have some crazy jetpacks. They vaguely remind me of something else, but I can't quite remember what the design reminds me of. If you're familiar with sci-fi as well, go ahead and let me know if those remind you of anything. What comes to mind is Reapers from StarCraft and StarCraft 2, but it's not quite it either. Although there is a little bit of a resemblance, I suppose. There we go. First 5-star battle of the episode. Very good. Let's wander around here. Now, one thing you might notice is that sometimes the camera likes to fight you a little bit. I don't remember that being an issue in the console version of the game. Maybe it might be a port thing. It might not, though. I may just be misremembering. That's really one of the only complaints that I have of the game. You know, for what's supposed to be a pretty elite military group, these guys are kind of chumps. Ooh, so backing into that grenade. I didn't think that would get any but the title. So I'll take it. Easy money. This game is fairly linear as far as Final Fantasies go, and world exploration. So until we get a fairly bit into the story, then we'll get to open up and explore the world a little bit more. I'm not sure yet what we want to do with this. I might do some off-screen farming, and then we'll hit the Seed Stones. If I remember correctly, that's what the optional challenges are out in the world. That'd be kind of cool. I never beat the secret boss of 13. That could be a cool thing to do. But we've got plenty of time before we get to that point. as our two meatheads in chief go on a race in the middle of the war zone. And there's our two unnamed.
言いたいことあるんじゃないの？じゃあ行こう。でも手伝おうか？いやもう本当大変だったんすから。無事か？ドラは軍隊より強い。ガキどもだよ。一人残らず。みんな守るからな。
A bit of a wimp, isn't he? Some people think that character is a bit annoying, but I personally quite like her. A little bit of a bright spot in a fairly serious game. And off we will go, it seems like, with our two friends here. Time to go. This has been made. One thing I do like is, for a lot of Final Fantasy XIII, it's fairly generous with its saves. I don't have a memory, aside from a couple places later on in the game, that are terribly mean when it comes to, oh crap, I'm stuck. Oh, that's embarrassing. Come on, bro, get up. There you go. Now, I mentioned in one of the last episodes that there is a character I'm not terribly fond of, and that would be our white-haired shonen pro tag here. He's not awful, don't get it twisted, but he's definitely not my favorite. He's a bit of a downer at every point. That said, later on, as we go through the story, he will have some pretty fun moments with Lightning. They play off of each other fairly well. And there we go. We now have the name of our pink-haired girl, Vanille. Absolute cutie. Then... So here we are in the Pulse-Falsi, the big thing that everybody's been going to. Our characters have all converged around this. And Vanille has found a toy. Ruh-roh. Now, if I remember correctly, Vanille is much more of your healer character in this. Oh, and Homeboy just pulls out a boomerang out of nowhere. I forgot about that. You know, I'm not quite sure what Vanille's weapon is supposed to be. Like, it's kind of a whip, but it kind of also looks like a slingshot as well. We'll just call it fantasy, and they ain't gotta explain shit. And we'll get to it. One interesting little detail, if you can see, is that there really isn't shown on Hope's model his weapon, but Vanille does. I think that also happens with Lightning. Saz carries his guns. Another character that we'll meet later carries the weapon they use. Snow is a punch boy, so don't really have to worry about having that as a model. I think I will go ahead and take a little bit of time to go through these guys. Just because it's a little bit, like I had mentioned earlier this episode, a little bit more linear. So I'd like to go ahead and get a little bit of experience going. Actually, can't remember if there's experience in this. It might be cached. Let's see on the windscreen. Because if not... yeah, we don't have access to that yet. So instead, what we are going to do is try and get any items. Because that will help us in the long term. We're gonna have to battle these guys. That is just close enough. This is a good point to look at the preemptive strikes as well. Where if you attack an enemy from behind, run into them, they will actually take a lot of their stagger damage. Well, in general a lot. There are some that are pretty darn tanky. That aren't as susceptible, but it is in general a good idea. Yes, yes, yes. I believe that was the game saying the same thing. Didn't get it that time, but that's alright. These Scandward guys kind of hopping around. they're a good example of what I talked about earlier of the kind of biomech. They're obviously kind of mechanical, but they also move in a very, very weird way that's biological. You know, it flows.
どうやって進めば怖くないんですか
ないかな
本当に知らないんだ
パルスのファルシとルシは敵だからコクーンから追い出すファルシの近くに住んでいた人も一緒にパルスに放り出すパージってそういうことでしょ
ここにいたら僕らもパルスにパージされて
だから何
何ってパルスは地獄なのに
落ち着けホープ
ごまかさないでよ
He is hopeless. And there's our punch boy. Well, we can hear him anyway. He's a bit further up the ladder there.
頑張れよセラもうすぐヒーロー参上だあれをどうにかしろってことか
I wonder what the glowy thing is for. Maybe we should head to it. Thank you, Final Fantasy. Very cool. Now, you might be saying, Smol, you're saving all the time. What are you saving all that for? Well, it's a habit. If you've played some old JRPGs, you will know they can very quickly, very suddenly switch to deciding that you need to die or get stuck. Or if you are like me and grew up in the era of memory sticks and the like, corrupted memory is very much a thing, and I've definitely been on the receiving end of that. So save early, save often, I say. A good habit to be in general, I think. Especially in a game that that lets you. I'm a big fan of the From Software's Souls games. So I'm very much used to being incredibly unpampered as far as, oh, I get to save when I want to. I don't have to worry too much. I can just go and try again from where I was. So when I do get an opportunity to save now, I take it. Kind of similar with From Software's other games, Armored Core. So I go way back with Armored Core. And those are very similar. The new Armored Core, well, newer Armored Core 6, which is very good, you should play it, is much more forgiving. I remember, you know, you didn't have the kind of checkpoints that you do in Armored Core 6. You don't have the reloads, and you don't have the heals either. So you had to buckle down and get stuff done. You had to be very Johnny on the spot with what you were going to do. What's really funny is in that game, you can actually go into, or in the older games I should say, you can actually go into debt. When you die, you can actually soft lock yourself because you can't buy ammo and repairs anymore. And you can the very old ones, there's the Human Plus, where you would get bonuses as kind of like a pity system. Some of them were pretty cool, though. I liked that system a lot. Meanwhile, we get back to Lightning, and she's just hacking at a door. The door is winning.
拒んだのは私の方か耳を塞げ
バカがいいぞ。
私が悪かった開けてくれ頼む
By the power of Grayskull. In case you were wondering, fabulous magic powers were revealed to Lightning after she held aloft her magic skull, her magic sword, not her magic skull. Castle Grayskull is what I was thinking. Ah, yes, the Erosias. Aerosols, Erosias, whatever. First Sol and Age of Sol, Deceptive Sol. They will all give you different bonuses. Remember, this was a pretty integral part. Do you have Deceptive Sol? Don't know what I want to do with that yet. I'm probably gonna hang on to it. Drop quick save. In my opinion, this is one of the harder sections of the game, specifically because, like we found out earlier, much to my dismay, you don't have any of the upgrade system. And that just makes things generally a bit harder. But if you can build up a stock of the aerosols, that will be a very, very big boon for you in the game moving forward, because you do keep the ability to use those throughout the game. And getting an immediate, you know, shield, haste, all that sort of thing, it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. Like, let's look forward to Sol. Bravery, Faith, and Haste at the start of battle. It's amazing. Being able to move with the Deceptive Sol undetected. Also very, very strong. This one definitely gives you a lot of tools. Which this is going... I think it very much wants me to use the Deceptive Sol, so let's go ahead and use that. I would like to get this item. Oh, I can't open it. Is he gonna see me regardless? No. Can move past. So we're gonna leave that. Not gonna be too worried about it. Let's see. How much further up? No, that wore off, so let's go ahead and grab. No, they're gonna see me. Dang it. Alright. No biggie. Best laid plans and all that. Unfortunately, these guys are pretty weak. We're gonna take care of this Pantheron. He'll stagger here. Yep. Sauce finishes him off with his trusty pistols. I do like the way his pistols look, his base pistols. I would actually like to, oh, perfect. I'm going to equip the Gladius. A little bit better. You can see it's definitely more for strength than magic. But it's not a huge loss on the magic front. We're actually going to give her an Iron Bangle as well, since we picked that up. Doesn't hurt to pick up some extra damage, some extra items. Never does. But as I was saying before, Saz's guns, I would really like to make a kind of a clone of his guns. I think they look really cool. I think it'd be really cool because I am a bit of a gun guy. I like to go to range. I like to do all that sort of thing. I think it'd be cool to custom make a gun that looks like his, or two. I'd probably have to keep it fairly low caliber, especially if I wanted to be do the funny and use both at the same time. Not great, you know, like 9mm, stuff like that. A little bit lower, 38. They're big enough that, you know, depending on what you make it out of, it'll really, really take down a lot of the weight and the recoil just based off of the way the gun counteracting it. If you didn't know, that is a lot of the issue with guns and their recoil. If you have shotguns and it feels like they're kicking you across the room, you're either firing a round that is very, very up there as far as its charge, or you're firing a very light gun. But I could go on and nerd out about guns for a long time, so instead, let's get back to 13.
人間じゃないんだよな。国運の敵、パルスの武士。始末しねえとな。次はあれか。
And there's the next one. Let's see, what's behind us here? I can't remember. They did put a sneaky one back here. Remember, kids, if a game lets you backtrack from where you start in the level, that probably means there's a goodie there. Never hurts to look in any case. It's like waterfalls in video games, being able to get behind the waterfall. Isn't there a thing? Was it a study or a poll or something? Where it's, if people found a secret passage behind a waterfall, it's more viewed as a bit trite and overdone, but in the same token, people are often disappointed if there isn't a secret passage behind a waterfall. I just think that was kind of funny.
ざっとこんなもんさ。
Let's get this up and running. Yushu. Ikuzo. Alright, let's boogie. Snow is so full of it. He is so full of it. Also, sound must carry incredibly far in this place. Listen to Vanille. Don't be a nerd. Don't listen to that part of what Vanille said. Oh dear. Can't believe you've done this, Vanille. Alright, we're gonna pick up here. I think we are just going to continue. I'm gonna juke these guys. Any other goodie spots? Cannot remember. There's one back here. Which I think we might try and steal. Ah, they saw us. One thing I don't like about the game as well, and it's a minor thing, is you can't really can't really sneak a chest, which I really wish you could do. I think that would be a little bit more fun. Even with the Fortisol, or not the Fortisol, excuse me, the Deceptisol, as you saw a little bit ago, you couldn't actually use it to get around the enemies and grab the chest, as you would expect it to. But, as I say, that's how the cookie crumbles. Meantime, we're gonna fight these cats. This is where I gotta say again, with all the different effects and stuff that's going on screen, it's hard to believe this game came out in 2009. It still looks and moves very well. There's a little bit of jank, like you can see in Vanille's weapon, but overall, I mean, it looks great. Let's see. Ah, perfectly timed. We're gonna plonk a save down here. And that will be all for this episode. In the next, we will continue. And depending on how it goes, I think we're gonna have quite a few more cutscenes. This was a bit cutscene heavy as well. I promise it's not all cutscenes. We are going to eventually get into the more interesting mechanics and the upgrades and stuff. But that will come in a little bit. Until next time, I've had fun. I hope you have too, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Peace.